Hello everyone, and today we're going to be looking at a scenario where India creates an empire. Now, I haven't really done much with India in any of my videos, so I think it's about time we do something with it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Also, remember that this video is not supposed to be realistic. Now, I know that there are risk factors when making this video because there's a lot of nations around India that don't like India, and particularly this one. But just remember that this video is only for fun, and I'm going to be highlighting India here, so they're going to be doing very well as opposed to what they would be doing in the real world. So just keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and get started. So in this video, we're going to be having India represented by the color red, and everyone that India goes to war with will be represented by blue. So this takes place in 2021. Like I said, this is kind of a series now where I'm creating empires in 2021. Now, India is a massive place. It has lots of people, lots of military, lots of technology, and it's going to be doing very well in this video. So the first thing that India does is create an empire, and obviously for that you're going to need a monarch, so they elect a monarch and he's put into power. With that, obviously Pakistan and China aren't going to be too happy about this, but they're not going to be declaring war because that would just kind of not be fair. Also, concerning Kashmir, we're just going to ignore that completely. Now, you might say that this map is wrong, you might say that it's right. Doesn't matter. This is the map that I have downloaded. This is the best map that I can have. So the first thing that India's new empire does is declare war on Sri Lanka. Now, Sri Lanka is really close to India, so they easily manage to make a landing on the island and start to push in. Eventually, they capture the capital and the island surrenders. And just like that, India has already started to expand its empire. From here, India starts to look at its smaller neighbors such as Nepal, Bhutan, and Bangladesh, and decide to go to war with Bangladesh simply to better connect their two halves. Now, Bangladesh is a very heavily populated area, and I'm pretty sure that India would not be able to go to war with Bangladesh without some other nations being involved. But like I said, this video is going to be tilted towards India's favor, so no one else is going to be getting involved. India starts a push in from the west and starts to breeze through the country. Eventually, after the coast of the country is taken, they surrender. So from here, we can see India is definitely expanding, and they're doing... Oh my god. So India's next target is once again going to be a smaller nation. This time it's going to be Nepal. Now, Nepal is a very mountainous nation, and I am in no way saying that this is going to be easy for India. This is probably going to be one of their toughest challenges so far. They're going to have to manage to get in through all the mountains and probably like seek out armies in the mountains and stuff like that. So this is going to take a long time. So India starts a very slow push into Nepal. At the same time, they also create another army to go to war with Bhutan. So now we have India invading two very small nations. And yeah, they're small, but they're like a fortress. Also, my background is completely finished. As you can see, very nice. We have lots of stuff on the shelf. Drinks, yes. So I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead a little bit just because the invasion of these nations is going to be a little bit boring. But like I said, remember, there's mountains there, so this did not take a brief amount of time. This took a long time. Once again, we have total annexation. So India is not making any puppets. They're not making any vassals or anything like that. They're just fully annexing these areas. Now, obviously, with India's influence growing, China is not going to be too happy with this, and war might be imminent. Luckily for India, though, the Tibetan Plateau exists, and basically the Himalayas as well. So invading through these areas is pretty much impossible for either side. India starts to focus its attention to the east and looks at Myanmar. After gathering their armies, they go to war. So India can take advantage of a lot of these smaller and weaker nations. Burma is probably going to be their second strongest country so far. I'm probably going to put Bangladesh in front of them just because of the population of Bangladesh is like 200 million. But Myanmar is a relatively poor nation, so India is easily able to push into the poorly equipped army's territory. In order to kind of counter India's expansion, Thailand decides to join in on India's side. Now, what they're trying to do here is to help out India and make them seem like an ally, which is their ultimate goal. They want to become an ally of India so they don't really have to get invaded by them. So they start their invasion to help out India. Eventually, the two sides meet up and Burma surrenders. So when the peace treaty is drawn, this is what we come up with. Now, Thailand obviously is going to get some land for helping out, and India is going to be taking a little bit more than Thailand just because they started the war. But yeah, these are the borders we end up with. And with that, we have the kind of formation of Siam. Now, they don't have all of their territory that they used to have, but it's a good bit of territory, so I think they can officially convert over to Siam. And they join a new alliance with India. Now, India's allies are going to be represented by the color of dark red. Now, India faces a large challenge, and that is, where do they go next? If they move north, they're going to be going to war with China. And if they move to the west, they're going to be going to war with Pakistan and ultimately China. So either way, they're going to be having to fight China. So after much preparing and lots of training and preparing and recruiting, all that stuff, India declares war on China. Now, obviously, this is a pretty significant war. India and China are now pretty much matched when it comes to statistics, so it's going to be interesting. During this war, we also have Taiwan that decides to rebel and joins in on India's side. Now, concerning Pakistan, China and Pakistan have a pretty good relationship, so if this were to happen in real life, then Pakistan would definitely join in on China's side, but since this is in real life and this is tilted towards India's favor, they're not going to be joining in. Anyway, like I said, mountains are a thing, and the mountains span just about here, so there's going to be no front movement over here. But mountains do not exist over here, so India decides to push in from Myanmar. Thailand also helps out in this war and starts to push into southern China. From here, both the allies push into southern China and make lots of progress. Eventually, China's army is fully mobilized and they start to push back India and Siam. In addition to their main front, India also makes another front over here in Kashmir and starts to push into China. After lots of fighting, India manages to push further into Chinese territory, as well up north into the northern territory. At this time, northwestern China falls completely to India as they kind of help the people here rise up against China. Eventually, India makes a campaign to go along the coast of China, which will hopefully make them discuss surrender. They capture Macau and Hong Kong and push up the Chinese coast. Around this time, though, China does make a pretty decent counteroffensive as they push back India over here in the south. But it isn't that important as they're taking a lot of their cities and industrial areas. And eventually China decides to surrender in order to stop this war and stop India from getting any more land. So when taking a look at a peace treaty here, now India didn't get as much land as they originally wanted to, but this is good for them because China has been pushed back behind the mountains. So if they were to ever go to war again, then India wouldn't have to worry about those mountains. Instead, they'd have to worry about a desert. And now we can see a red blob starting to form on this map. We also have China's recognition of Taiwanese independence. So that's another country in the world. And India puppets / vassals Tibet. Now, there's only really one more place India can expand to, and that's the West. Now, a lot of people are going to hate me for this, which is fine. I don't really care if you hate me. But this is India's video. This isn't Pakistan's video. So India and Pakistan are going to be going to war. There will be no nuclear bombs in this war. There will also be no allies, so Siam isn't helping out India, and none of the Middle Eastern countries are helping out Pakistan. Once again, remember, this video is just for fun, and let's go ahead and start the war. Now, Pakistan isn't a place to be taken too lightly. There is a lot of army, and there's a lot of people that are willing to fight for their country there. Same for India, so this war is going to be very brutal. First thing that we have happening is India pushing up and capturing the Kashmir claims. From here, India starts to push into southern Pakistan, taking over a lot of their coastal cities. From here, we have Pakistan making a small push into India, but ultimately we have India winning more battles here as they take more and more Pakistani land. Eventually, Pakistan is kicked out of India, and India starts to push in on all sides. Once again, this is tilted towards India's favor. They probably wouldn't play like this in real life. Anyway, India completely cuts off Pakistan from the coast and starts to near towards Islamabad. Eventually, the city is taken as the army starts to flee back. Finally, India captures all of the country. Now, there was no terms of surrender sent by the Pakistani government. They never surrendered. India just annexed them. India is also going to be having to deal with a lot of pop-up rebellions in the Pakistani territory, so this isn't going to be too easy for them to hold on to. So taking a look at the final peace treaty of this video, we have India winning and a puppet being set up in Pakistan. Now I realize that India looks kind of weird because I made it go like this, which is odd, but it's their borders now. And we have an overall new superpower in the world. We have India taking over pretty much all of the Indian subcontinent other than a little bit of Afghanistan. And yeah, like I said, new superpower. Now I'm not really sure how this new empire would correlate with other empires around the world, so it would be an interesting world to look at. I want you guys to please be respectful in the comments of this video. If you guys see people with differing opinions, then just respect their opinion and move on. Don't try to engage anyone. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you're new. That really helps me out. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.